How's it going, everybody? Just thought I would, start off with talking about like my first years, the first years that I remember in my life, the babysitter years. Those are important years because that's, you got a single parent that's working, so it's important to send your kids somewhere safe where they can still learn, have fun, be a kid, and not have to worry about, any kind of abuse or being hurt or being left out or being bullied or anything. That never happened to me when I was a kid. Like, all my babysitters were really cool. And I'll start out with the first memory that I've got, like probably the youngest memory. Well, my first babysitter was Miss Hollifield, and it was really cool. There had a big yard, apple tree. I used to lay out in the grass, and it seemed like the clouds would make their own shapes. Like, you could almost, like, I remember like seeing Superman flying by, and like just crazy stuff. When you're a kid, your imagination is just amazing. And I remember I used to like taking off my diaper and going behind the couch and hiding, a little streaker. And another thing I used to like doing there that I remember was, what I would do is they had a power pole outside, and where they would use the spikes to climb it, it would make the wood kind of jut out a little bit. So I would peel that piece of that off. I'd look at it like it was a secret message and I was Batman, and I would like have to go on a mission. So I would read it out, whatever I thought it was going to be, and then I'd just go out and do a mission. And I really, really like thinking about those times of taking myself back to my childhood, being a kid again. Being an adult's hard, and if you've got really good memories as a child, sometimes you need to go back there and kind of just push away the adult stuff and remember when you were a kid, and remember the things that you used to love to do. I used to love just my imagination. My mom probably thought I was wild, but I was wild. I gave my mom a hard time. Oh, my poor mom. I do miss her. So yeah, Miss Hollifield was the first babysitter that I remember, and had a great time there. Then I went to, I believe it was Miss Orr, and I remember her, and she lived right next to my grandparents, my dad's mom and dad. And I remember her son lived in the house with her. He was older, and I think it was Robert was his name. I'm not sure, but I remember he would sit there in his chair, and I'd go running around, stuff like that, and he would sing. He'd catch me, and I'd sit on his knee, and he'd sing "Against the Wind." I think it's Bob Seger. He used to always sing like "Against the Wind" and some, just old songs, and really cool. Thinking about that. And she had chickens out back that used to chase me all the time. Rooster was crazy, but used to have chickens, just free range chickens out in the yard, fenced in. And the next babysitter that I went to was Miss Hampton, I believe. And Miss Hampton had a John Deere tractor that had the little pedals on it, and she had these sidewalks, and that was like my favorite thing to do. I would get on the John Deere tractor, and I would just have so much fun on it. It was just great, and I had to share with the other kids and stuff, and I did, and we all shared well. But when it was my turn, I loved the John Deere tractor. Another thing that Miss Hampton taught me, she used to make me, because my favorite thing is SpaghettiOs and peanut butter sandwiches. I lived off of those. I mean, if it wasn't for peanut butter sandwiches and SpaghettiOs, I don't know if I'd have made it. Because they were easy to cook, easy to make. Had a microwave, could do it myself. But she taught me, like, just put a little bit of milk in it to take that canned taste out of it. So I've always done that. Every time I make my SpaghettiOs, I still eat them. In fact, I keep a can. And my peanut butter. But yeah, so she's the one that taught me just put a little bit of milk in there, take the can taste right out of it, and actually that tomato, you know, it takes some of that acidic stuff out of the tomato, so it's not so hard on your stomach. But dipping a peanut butter sandwich in some SpaghettiOs, that's something else. But those are the 3 babysitters that I remember, and of course, you know, my aunt kept me some, and I remember one time my aunt was keeping me, and I'd gotten on my cousin's bike, and I was riding around the neighborhood, and I, you know, found this place where a chain gang was working, and they were all out in this ditch, digging this ditch out. So I just decided to, you know, stop and talk to everybody. You know, the prison guards, I still remember them standing around and with their brim hats on, their 12 gauges, and these guys were linked together by chains, and they were digging, and I was down there in the ditch with them, and, you know, the cops were just, the prisoners were having such a fun time with me, and I was just helping them out dig and stuff and talking to them, and you know, the prison guards, they were really just laughing at me, and because I'm coming up with all kinds of stuff, I'm sure, but I remember them just having a big old smile. And I remember it was a while I was there. I actually ate lunch with them. They gave me a bag lunch. I remember it had like a sandwich in it, had an apple and something else. I think some chips or something. And so I was sitting down in they let them took them to this little like grassy place where it was open grass, and they were all sitting there eating. I was sitting there eating with them. They gave me a hard hat, and, you know, it was really cool. And I remember them giving me a little New Testament Bible was in that bag too. And so I was gone for a while. And then my aunt was searching the neighborhood for me, driving around, trying to figure out where I was at. And so finally she pulls up, and she is furious. I mean, furious. She is yelling at me to get home. And the prison guard was just trying to tell her, "Ma'am, don't be so upset with him. We've had a real good time with him." And so I remember grabbing the rest of what I had in my bag lunch and my Bible and getting on the bike and taking off, and I'm pedaling up this hill trying to get home. And I was like, I felt like I had to drop something, so I dropped the bag of whatever the food was, and I just kept that little Bible in my hand, and I was just pedaling. So I finally pulled up, and Aunt Sue was waiting on me in the driveway, and I remember just walking up to her, and I was holding this Bible because I thought she was going to kill me. I was holding this Bible, looking up at her, and you know, she gave me the evil eye, and she had a mean evil eye. But I think deep down is probably she was just glad I was okay, and, you know, I didn't get beat for it or nothing like that. But she was upset. And I didn't get to ride the bike for a little while after that, but I was really young. But that's another story I had for babysitting. And really, that's just all I wanted to share today. That's the first bit of my life and my story, and I'm just trying to start from the beginning. And as I come up with and remember new things, I'm going to cover that too. So if I have more stuff about babysitters that I remember, I'll do some more on that. If not, then I'll go to the next memory that I have. And I hope you enjoy like I did, because babysitters that was a fun time. All right. Love y'all.